It is a very pleasing sight.
New electric car.
Yes, this is an electric car.
Does it has an engine?
One of the newest emerging segments in India in terms of the automotive space is electric vehicles. Now, naturally, a lot of you have interest in electric vehicles and how they run, how cheap or expensive they are to drive and to maintain, and a lot more queries that we keep getting on a regular basis. So to answer all those, what we have done is we have spent a little over a month with an electric vehicle, and that is the MG ZS, which you're seeing with me here right now. Now, over the course of the next few minutes, not only will I tell you about the features of this car, but most importantly, I'll tell you how it is to drive an electric vehicle vis-a-vis a petrol or a diesel one, and how much does it cost to run it per kilometer, how much electricity does the car consume in terms of units to charge the battery completely, and what is the cost, how much time does the car take to charge on various charging options. So to know all the answers to these queries, just sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we take you for a long-term review of the MG ZS. Now, starting off with the design and how the MG ZS looks, well, on first sight, the ZS is a pleasing vehicle to look at, especially in this shade. Now, it is a compact SUV. It is designed like an SUV, but it's more like a modern SUV. It's not one of those boxy and macho SUVs. It's a compact SUV. It's got modern design cues and, of course, looks good. Now, if you look at the front, especially the grille, now this is a very recognizable MG design. It's a studded grille, and of course, there's the MG logo in the center, flanked by the modern and sleek looking headlamps. Now, of course, these have LED DRLs inbuilt into them, which look quite nice. And the overall bumper and the design again is quite contemporary. The design lines, all of it has been done tastefully. So while it does look modern, it doesn't look overdone. Now, one of the prominent features about the front is the logo. If you just press, well, this lifts up, and this is where your charging socket is. Now, while all of this is fine, the plastic quality here, especially in the grille and the hinges that operates this section, well, that's a bit tacky and could have been better for a vehicle of its price. Moving to the side, one of the fanciest features is the design of the alloy wheel, which is inspired from the blades of a windmill. Well, it is just an idea to connect the design of an electric vehicle with a windmill, bringing in the philosophy of environment friendliness. Moving further back along the side, you've got these good looking roof rails, and of course the roof line, which tapers slightly as it progresses towards the end, giving the ZS a sporty profile. And at the rear again, you've got these good looking tail lamps, and the tailgate design is again tastefully done. No extra lines, no extra bling. It just looks good. Overall, goes well with all sections of the design, and that's the reason why the ZS is a good looking vehicle. Now, once you're inside the cabin of the ZS, there is a lot to keep you entertained and happy. Now, to start off, there's this dashboard which has been done in soft touch material on the top, and of course looks not only good to look but also feels good to touch, and just gives a bit of a premium feel to the cabin. Again, the metallic finish in the dashboard is done nicely. The plastic quality again here is fine, and if you look at the build quality, the way the doors shut, all of it is fine. It's just that maybe this bit, the build quality is good, but maybe the tactile feel could have been a little better. Now, moving to the touchscreen, the infotainment system, well, again, you have a good touchscreen here, and of course the ZS, just like the Hector, is a connected car, comes with its own inbuilt SIM So being a fully connected car, you also get access to apps such as Gaana, and of course there's Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Now of course, being a connected car, there are a lot of remote features that you get access to. So using a smartphone, you can turn the ignition on or off, you can turn the air conditioner off a few minutes before you're leaving, and you can find your car, you can track your car, you can geo-fence your car so that your car does not move out of a certain area. And beyond that, you can also locate your car in case of theft, and in the unfortunate event of an accident or an emergency, the car can automatically contact the emergency services, or in case of need, you can use the car to make a call to the MG call center and place a request for any kind of assistance you need. So these are just some of the few features that you can do with a connected car. But coming back to the overall touchscreen experience, the touchscreen is nice in terms of clarity. The user interface is simple, so it's not at all complicated to use. Even the visibility under direct sunlight is quite nice, but I wish the touch response was a little quicker. As far as the instrument cluster is concerned, again fairly simple. The only difference is that now in terms of a fuel gauge, you get a battery gauge, and of course in place of a tachometer, you get a counter that shows how much percentage of the power you're using from the overall the battery or the motor. But beyond that, yes, it's a good cabin to be in. Like I said, the seats are again good, they look good, they're good to sit in terms of comfort, the cushioning is good, space in the door pockets is nice, practical storage space all around. Even if you look at the rear seat, I would say the space in terms of legroom is decent. So if you are in the compact SUV space and your expectations are in perspective of a compact SUV, the ZS ticks most of the boxes right as far as space is concerned. In terms of features, again, it's loaded, so you can compare it to pretty much any other petrol or diesel SUV. And of course, for all of you sunroof lovers, well, the ZS comes with a panoramic sunroof, which again is something that very few vehicles in this price segment have. A lot of people have a misconception that if you buy an electric vehicle, it is a given that you will have to compromise with the boot space. But that is not the case, because in an electric vehicle, mostly the battery is located underneath the body, which is the case with the ZS. And that means the boot, well, it's a no compromise boot. Now the ZS has a boot just like any other petrol or diesel compact SUV in this segment would. So you do have a spacious boot, which again has been designed quite well. So getting a luggage in and actually placing the luggage, you can place in a lot of stuff inside. It also comes with a donut spare tire, so that is a nice thing. The only difference around in this boot is the fact this little box which comes with the home charger. More on that later when we talk about the driving bit. And now we are on to the most important part about this entire video, and that's the driving aspect and the charging aspect of the MG ZS EV. Now first of all, let's get the usual numbers out of the way first. So in terms of power, well, this car comes with a 44.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, and of course the power is sent to the wheels using a single speed automatic transmission. Now the power on tap is about 143 horsepower, and the torque is a healthy 353 Newton meters. Now with these numbers out of the way, well, the biggest difference you'll notice when you first drive an electric car compared to an internal combustion engine vehicle is the fact that it's eerily silent. So except the fact that, in fact, when you're stationary, there is no sound at all except a little bit of hum coming from the air conditioning compressor. By the way, the air conditioning cooling in this car is very nice. Now, as far as the sound is concerned, when you're moving along the road, all you get, even at high speeds, is tire roll and a bit of a hum from the motor. That's the motor whining. That's the only sound that will filter inside the cabin. So overall, yes, from an NVH perspective, it can't get better than this. Now the biggest difference in terms of driving electric car compared to an internal combustion vehicle is the fact that all of the torque is available for you right from 0 RPM, and you do not need to wait to reach a particular engine rev like it happens in any internal combustion engine. So right from the word go, you have the full torque at your disposal, and this means off the line an electric car would be way quicker than a petrol or its diesel counterpart. Now, as far as performance in this vehicle is concerned, acceleration is impressive. In our run, we did 0 to 100 kilometers in about 9 seconds, which is great for this kind of a vehicle. And beyond that, of course, you do get 3 driving modes in this vehicle. So it's economy, normal, and sport. Sport, of course, gives you the maximum power and the best acceleration, but economy, however, I think is the mode that is the well-suited one, and that's what I have been using over the last month or so. Now, the reason I choose economy most of the times while I'm driving is simply for the fact that economy gives you the best range, and in terms of city driving, it's not really dull. In fact, when you really push the pedal, you still get a strong surge of acceleration. So yes, you get a good balance of power as well as range. And as far as driving experience is concerned, like I told you, the acceleration is strong, and of course it's not just the initial stage wherein you get a strong acceleration. Even when you're, say, driving at about 80 and you want to overtake a big vehicle on the highway, still there is a lot of power at your disposal. So even if you're looking at doing highway runs, this vehicle has got adequate power to handle them effortlessly. Now, as far as top speed is concerned, this vehicle will do about 170 to 180, but and how's it to drive at that speed? Well, at high speeds, once you cross about 140, 150, well, thereon the motor starts showing some sort of strain, but in terms of ride quality, I would say till about 130 is where the ZS feels comfortable. And apart from that, if you talk about city ride quality, again at low speeds, the ride quality doesn't give you any reason to complain. Of course, considering the fact that there's a heavy battery pack mounted underneath the body, so the suspension is sprung on slightly on the stiffer side, but still it has been tuned in a way it doesn't compromise comfort. So when you're going over bad surfaces, the ZS does a decent job of filtering those shocks out of the cabin. And as far as high-speed stability is concerned, again the ZS is quite good. Straight line stability, I have no reasons to complain. I've been on the expressway a few times. Triple-digit speeds, no worries at all. Panic braking, easily handled. The steering, it's light. It weighs up as speed builds up, but no feedback. Don't expect that. There's almost no feedback from the steering wheel. But yes, so overall, I think it's a great driving experience that you get. Now, coming to range, now I'm sure a lot of you want to know what is the realistic range. Well, first of all, what MG claims for the ZS is about 340 kilometers on a full charge, and that too in economy mode. Now, like I said, I've been driving this car mostly in economy mode, and what I have been able to extract realistically in a combination of city traffic and expressway driving is about 290 to 300 kilometers, give or take about 15-20 kilometers depending on your driving style. This is with the air conditioning and the infotainment system on all of the time.
Helping extend the range of the ZS is the brake energy regeneration system, which interestingly MG refers to as GERS. Now, this in the ZS offers 3 settings from light to moderate and all the way up to strong. Now, in the strong setting, the deceleration is quite strong and is capable of bringing the vehicle to an almost halt when you lift your foot off the accelerator. This converts the energy otherwise lost into electrical energy, and this is fed back into the batteries, thereby extending the range.
So certainly range anxiety is not an issue that you're going to face with the ZS. Even if you're someone who has a daily commute of say about 30 to 40 kilometers, you can go through the entire week and that too on a single charge. So charging your car about 4 times in a month should be more than enough. And that brings us to charging, the other most important factor. Now, as far as charging is concerned, the ZS does offer a wide array of options. First is the normal charger that you get with the car, and that would plug into any 16 amp socket, so you can charge it pretty much anywhere. Just pull out the wire, plug it in, plug the charging gun into the socket, and you're good to go. Now, MG says it takes about 16 to 18 hours to charge the car completely from dry, and in the last month or so, what I have experienced is, in simple words, it charges 5% in 1 hour. So it's easy math from there on. You can calculate if you charge it for 6 hours, you'll get about 30% of battery, and I think that's still good enough. However, one important thing to note is that if you're a ZS EV customer, when you buy the vehicle, you get the option of one free fast charging installation, be it at your home or office, and that particular charger can charge your car completely from 0% in about 6 to 8 hours. So that is a good option. And of course, then there is a 50 kilowatt charging option, which is the fast charging option. That is available at select MG dealerships. Now that charger can charge this car at blazingly fast speeds, and that is about 80% in just 50 minutes. Beyond that, again, there is an option of you going to charging stations, which are increasingly coming up, especially in large cities such as Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad. And finding one nearest to your location is quite easy. You can either search for it on your smartphone using the MG iSmart app, or you can search it on the go on the infotainment screen, and you can go and charge your car there. Even if you at some point of time run out of battery, you can always contact the MG roadside assistance, and they will send in a vehicle to your location which will charge it to a point where you can travel for, say, another 20-25 kilometers, so that you can reach either the nearest charging station or your home or office. So in terms of charging, in terms of range, like I said, it is a vehicle that addresses the main problem of electric vehicles, range anxiety. And how much electricity does it consume? Well, I have noticed in my usage over the last month, charging the car fully consumes about 40 units of electricity. Now, your running cost for this car will depend on what is the cost of electricity in the city or in the region that you stay in. Now, I stay in Delhi, where the cost of electricity is significantly lower than many other states in India. So that means when I calculate my driving cost, it is considerably less than 1 rupee per kilometer for the ZS EV. Now, if you compare that to even some of the most fuel efficient petrol or diesel vehicles, even hatchbacks, this is way ahead of them. This is a lot cheaper to run, and also keep in mind that in terms of maintenance, an electric car will be again quite less expensive to maintain, because there are very few moving parts, and that simply means you do not require that much of regular maintenance. As far as battery is concerned, which is the key cost in electric cars, well, for that MG does offer quite an extensive warranty. So again, even if you're looking at a long-term ownership experience, I think that is pretty much covered. So with all that, now you know everything about how the ZS is to drive, how it is to live with, what are the problems, what are the challenges of and what are the benefits of driving an electric car. Well, of course, as far as the challenges are concerned, there's one more challenge that I would like to point out, and that is charging at home. So unless you have a dedicated charging place in your apartments or your private home, it's going to be an issue. But the way I manage is, I live on first floor, and I have bought a kind of a extended wire, and that I can simply drop in from the first floor and I bring the car close to the parking spot and I charge it. So it's not that hard, you just have to find a way to do it. It is doable. Now, I also talked about going and charging your car outside at a charging station just like you would fill petrol in a petrol vehicle. Well, how is that experience? Well, it's a long-term review and a detailed one. So let us take you to a charging station and show you how you can charge your car there and how much it costs to do that.
And now we are at a plug-and-go EV charging station in Delhi. And as you can see, I've already got this ZS plugged into a CCS 50 kilowatt charger, and that means it is on fast charging. Now, fast charging is usually supported up to 80%. So that means, like I told you, you can do it at any MG dealership. Here also, you can go from 0 to 80 in about 50 minutes. Thereon, the progress is slow, which is the case with most electric cars globally. Now, right now with the car on charging, we'll wait till it gets topped up, and by the end of the video, I'll tell you the time consumed and most importantly, how much you need to pay. That is the charge for per unit, which will give you an idea of how expensive it is to drive an electric vehicle. So now we are through with our charging process, and I have been able to charge my car from 80% to 92%, and well, it consumed about 6 kilowatt hours, and the bill generated for me, which you can see on your screens right now, well, is about 62 rupees. And in simple maths, this converts to about 10.5 rupees including GST and taxes for every single kilowatt hour that you charge your car. So like I said earlier, the MG ZS requires about 40 kilowatts for a full charge, which means you can charge your car at such a charging station at a cost of about 400 to 420 or 430 rupees. And that is a lot cheaper if you compare it in terms of running cost for a range of 300 kilometers compared to any petrol or a diesel vehicle.
And now it's time to answer the two big questions. First, should you buy the MG ZS or not? And second, should you actually go in for an electric vehicle first of all or not? Well, I'll answer the first one, which is what's about the MG ZS. Now, the MG ZS, first of all, you need to know is available in two variants. One is called the Excite, which is the lower variant, and then there's the Exclusive, which is the higher variant, which we have with us right now. Now, the Excite is priced at 20.88 lakh ex-showroom, whereas the Exclusive, this one is priced at 23.58 lakh ex-showroom. Along with this, there are some subsidies that are being offered by the central government, as well as some which are being offered now, at least in the state of Delhi, by the state government for an electric vehicle, which means that in certain places your actual cost will not go too much beyond 23.5 lakhs on road also if you're buying this car. So at that price, I think the ZS is a very attractive option, as it offers you pretty much all the features that a compact SUV in a 20 lakh rupee segment would offer, but in addition, it gives you the advantage of an electric powertrain, which we already discussed, and the cost advantage of that is simply massive. And of course, there's also the environmental benefit. And coming to the second question, whether you should buy an electric vehicle or not. Well, given the current infrastructure in our country, I would say electric vehicles are still at an nascent stage, but that doesn't mean that you should not consider an electric vehicle at all. If you are someone in the market who's looking for a second vehicle, and you already have a vehicle that is doing its job as a primary car in your home, well, in that case, I think electric vehicles like the MG ZS make a really good choice, because they offer you pretty much all the features that you would get in a compact SUV, and also the feel-good effect of doing your little tiny bit for the environment. So from that perspective, if you're looking for an electric vehicle, especially as a second vehicle, or your primary vehicle if you're going to run it mostly around the city or to towns or cities nearby your home city, well, the ZS with its features and its good and impressive range is a good choice, and for the price that it comes, it is absolutely great value for money. Now, of course, the ZS is going to stay with us for a longer time, and there are more details that I will be telling you over the course of the next few months in terms of more maintenance costs and how it is to live with. So stay tuned for that, and if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon, and please share it as well.